let's just go across to one other of those 10 iconic locations that we are tracking. And NDTV's Gargi Rawat is there in Varanasi. Gargi, of course, has also been closely working on the agenda for many of the locations, in fact, all of the locations that we are really identifying. But Gargi, let's just come across to Varanasi specifically. And what do you think are the real agenda that we should be looking at there in Varanasi? Those ancient and famous ghats there in Varanasi. What do you think it is that we need to do to be cleaning up that particular place?
Right. Right, Vikram and Amitji, I'd like to tell you we are here right next to the Manikarnika Ghat. Now, when we talk about the 10 iconic places, this is one of them. This is the most sacred ghat here in Varanasi. If you're cremated here, it's a gateway to Nirvana. 200 bodies are cremated here every day. But I'd just like to have you take a look at the state of this ghat. We've seen many of the ghats here. They're very beautiful. But Manikarnika Ghat, if we talk about, this is where Parvati's earring fell. It is in shambles. It's quite eroded, the ghat. You can see the kachra lying around. You can see the bodies as well. Their dogs. There's no waiting place for the families. Can you imagine the families who come here with their loved ones? And there's nowhere for them to really sit here. Now, we've reported on this. We've done programs on this, on what needs to be done. And clearly, first and foremost, is that the ghat needs to be rebuilt. And there need to be proper platforms. This wood that you're seeing that is collected here, I've been speaking to the officers in charge. They're speaking to the community here to move this wood to another place so this can get freed up. They've acquired 2 buildings here. They've won a court case which is allowing them now to build up these buildings and create guest houses for the families who come here, some decent place where they can wait, where there'll be toilets. Now, Vikram and Amitji, the community that runs, that really is the keeper of these ghats is the Dome community. And they're the ones that you need to work with. And it's their cooperation that's required if anything is to be done with the ghats. And this has to be done very sensitively because they're insecure, obviously. They don't want any sort of anything coming in the way of their livelihood. So the officers are in talks with them. They're trying to work with them so that they can tell them this is for their good as well. I don't know if you can see there are lots of tourists here as well. They've come to see the rituals of death that are performed under the Hindu religion. But just look at the state of this ghat. So the Dome community are the keepers of the fire here. They're the ones who provide you the first burning wood to cremate the pyre. And as I said, the officers here are in talks with them so that they can create guest houses. They want to create a little garden space here, have proper amenities for the families who arrive, because at this point, the families arrive here, they just have to wait their turn. They have to sit here among the garbage, among all the debris that's lying around over here. And so hopefully soon something can be done. We were told in a few months' time, they are hopeful that they will take some steps. So this is one of the 10 iconic locations. It's the most sacred ghat here in Varanasi. And when we speak of Varanasi, the whole of the town as well, there are steps being taken to improve the situation there. I think the municipality here has realized it's beyond them to clean up the whole city. So now they've divided it into 3 areas. And 2 of those areas are under private companies who are engaged in cleaning up. And we have seen workers from those companies who are cleaning up. So I think that's a very positive way forward, because I think a lot of our municipalities need to realize if it's beyond them, if they're not being able to clean up, there's nothing wrong in these public-private partnerships as long as our cities can be clean and there can be regular picking up of garbage, which we don't see in many of our cities. And there's one narrow path that comes to Manikarnika Ghat. That is the path that everyone has to take when they come here to cremate bodies, and there are steps being taken to make that a bit better as well. It's a very narrow path. So the officers here said they're doing things so that to better the facades of all the buildings, so it looks better when you come down. And as I said, enough cannot really be said for how the situation here needs to change. These ghats need to be made better. There is a program. They're going to hopefully have 16 platforms eventually. I've seen the drawings, the proposals of that program. Let's all hope it becomes a reality very soon. And a lot of cooperation is required, because this can't be something that's done in an official manner. The Babus can't just say this has to be done. As I said, cooperation, sensitivity to bring real change here to Manikarnika.
Yeah, right. I agree with what you said. Of course, the cleanliness is essential, but I also agree with the fact that it's a sensitive issue. Wherever there is, dharma, religion, employment, all these factors come in, they become sensitive. And we need to be cautious about that. You said that the particular community is responsible for looking after the working, and that's also important. So we don't want to do anything to damage the sentiments of the people there. But I think what needs to be said really is that perhaps a lot of people don't know that Varanasi is the oldest functional city in the entire world. In the entire world, it is the oldest functional city. And I think people need to take pride in that. And once they build this kind of a temperament, I'm sure that they will look into all the other aspects that you are facing now as far as cleanliness is concerned.
Right. Gargi?
Right, absolutely correct, Vikram. And I think programs like this one, when we talk about cleanliness, we know Prime Minister Modi spoke a lot about cleanliness when he came here. He cleaned one of the ghats, and that was a ghat that you hadn't actually seen the steps for years. It was covered with silt and garbage, and so there is a lot of awareness about this. Like I said, some steps taken over the last couple of months. Varanasi divided into wards. The responsibility for cleaning some of those wards given to private companies. And yes, Amitji, as you were saying, a lot of sensitivity in dealing with the community here when we want to bring about change. If they get angry, like apparently they did a few years ago, and they went on a strike, and tremors of that reached the Prime Minister's office. So yes, it has to be done very, very carefully, very, very sensitively. Like I said, this wood that's occupying a lot of space, there is land being given to them across the river where a proper storage facility is going to be built so that they can store this wood. And a lot of this wood is not going to be used for months from now. So, as I said, the officers here understand the task ahead. They're dealing with it very sensitively. I wish the politicians here in Varanasi also help the bureaucrats and, to reach out to this community and speak to them and build that trust so they don't feel at any point that any of their livelihood is at risk. And again, like I'm saying, families coming here in grief with their loved ones need better facilities here as they wait to perform those final rites, that final ritual for their family member.
Right. Gargi, just wanted to ask you, I have interacted with some of the people who are working on the Clean Up Varanasi campaign, and some of the issues, not just in the Manikarnika Ghat behind you, but in Varanasi in general, there are some problems that it's not very clear how to find the solutions to, such as when you're talking about building public toilets or better toilets in Varanasi, the streets are so narrow that if you put septic tanks there, how are you going to possibly be able to clean out the septic tanks? And those are issues for which some really creative solutions are going to have to be found. It's not very clear what the answers are going to be. You can build the toilets, but how will the toilets then be kept clean? And I'm still wondering if they've been able to find any solutions.
We've been doing stories on bio-toilets. A lot of our reporters.
Yeah. Carry on.
Well, like I said, we've been doing coverage of bio-toilets. Exactly, Vikram, we need to bring innovation into this. It's a city of narrow lanes, Varanasi. It's full of small mohallas and very narrow lanes. And yes, spaces need to be found. I have to say the bureaucrats here are working hard. They were showing me places where they found that they could clear up, build toilets. And like I said, they won a case. These guest houses here are going to be developed, and exactly what you were saying, toilets are going to be brought here, and they're looking at some more solutions as far as bio-toilets go. And yes, a way needs to be found so that the waste from Varanasi doesn't come straight into the Ganga like it does currently. There are sewage treatment plants that are being set up. The last time I was here, there was a bit of a tussle because it was a land acquisition issue, and I think the politics got into it because one of the opposition parties got with the farmers and tried to oppose that land acquisition for the sewage treatment plant. But so these sort of issues do arise, and I think in Varanasi the work is happening. People expect more as well because it's the Prime Minister's constituency, and he said so much about cleanliness. And I've heard from a lot of people that change that they were expecting hasn't come, and I'm afraid a lot of that is being lost in petty internal politics between parties. As you know, Samajwadi Party rules Uttar Pradesh, and right now, if Prime Minister Modi's Swachhta campaign was a success here, the credit wouldn't really go to them, and that's something that I've realized while talking to many officials who are working on these issues here.